welcome. Today I have a couple art coins for you. These were so much fun. You need to do these. They're just a lot of fun. I cut mine out of Bristol smooth paper on my Cricut. Mine are 2.5 inch. You can use a punch. You can wing it. There's lots of tools out there to cut circles. Anyway, so I'm starting with this stencil from All Create. It's great for just like little random splotches of things. And so I'm using Shabby Shutters as my first distress ink. And I'm going to be using it on both of them and then using different colors to go with it. I'm just kind of randomly putting it on, and then I'll check to see, do I need something somewhere else? I don't care if I have to reline it up or anything. It just is kind of meant to be a random look. And you don't want to cover the whole thing because you want the other color to come through. But to make it as a resist, I am going to add some clear, sorry, my phone just went off. I usually put it on airplane mode. Clear embossing powder, just so my next color won't alter that Shabby Shutters. Going to emboss it with my heat tool. You can emboss it with a drying tool. It just takes quite a bit longer. And if you hold it up like I am and let the air go through the piece of paper, that even makes it go quicker. And once it starts going, you can just see it just, you know, go through the whole thing. So that's one ready, and now I'm going to do the same thing really to the second one. It won't be exactly the same because I'm not really caring how my stencil goes down and what parts of it go on the stencil. I'm just being kind of random with it. There are several of these kinds of stencils from All Create that just have random shapes and holes, and just to kind of give you a random look. Same thing, I'm going to put my clear embossing powder on to just seal it. I could use a resist, but because I just moved my stencil around, and that's what I was planning to do, but because I moved my stencil around so much, I thought it'd just be so much easier to use a clear embossing, so that way I didn't have to worry about lining my stencil up. It would just be easier this way. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding more colors, just doing a little cleanup of the embossing powder. I'm going to make one blue and one kind of pink with purple. I'm using broken china. Um, and it's a really bright, there's a lot of ink in this pad. So it's a little too bright for me. So I'm going to just spray it with some water and then with a paper towel lift some of that ink off. I think I might splatter it a bit too. No, I'm just gonna spray it and lift some off. Much better for me. And I'm going to use some Kitsch Flamingo on the base of this one. And as I get started, I'm realizing, gosh, I need to re-ink my Kitsch Flamingo. And I was going to turn the camera off, and I thought, well, you might want to see how I re-ink my pad. So I kept the camera rolling, and now you'll be able to watch and see how I do it. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, it's just how I do it. I only have re-inkers for the colors I use most of the time. Not to say I won't get them, it's just that I haven't gone through them all to re-ink them. So I go one direction. I really load mine up, and then I go the other direction, just laying it down. And then I take a little, this is from my Cricut machine, and a little spreader, or I don't know what you want to call that, but just kind of spreading it each direction so that the ink will be pushed in each direction. There's going to be a little on my little spreader thing there, but that's okay. I just wipe it off. So now it's inked up good and the ink is coming on better. And then I'm going to use seedless preserves to go around the outside of it, coming in a little bit. I don't want it to be all seedless preserves, and this is only 2.5-inch circle, so I'm just coming in a little bit. I think seedless preserves is kind of a pinkish purple, so I knew it would look good with the green, and it goes well with the pink too because it kind of has pink in it. Out of all the purples, that's the one I like. I'm not a big purple. Oh, here's where I do my splatter. I knew I did somewhere. So when I splatter, I usually lift off with a paper towel. Then I'm going to go back in and just kind of run it around, run my Kitsch Flamingo around just to kind of soften the edge. And adding a little bit of vintage photo to the edges. That's just what I do. I just don't like it to look like there's no end to the piece, so I normally always add vintage photo to my edges unless it needs something darker. Like it's if you're doing a really dark blue, you might need to go, well, you could use a really dark blue to edge that, or you might need to go to something like walnut stain or scorched timber. And then I'm going to give a little bit of splatter of vintage photo. Just kind of helps it, for me, be a little grungy. I kind of am a grungy girl, so not too grungy, just a little. then I'm going to dry it. And usually there might be 1 or 2 spots left, and so I'll lift up any excess ink with a paper towel. And before I start collaging, I'm going to just do a little bit of stamping. This is a stamp set, Etcetera. It's just got some good text stamps, which are my favorite for backgrounds anyways. I'm only inking the text portion of it, and I'm inking it with potting soil, Archival Ink. My husband's right outside my window working, so you might hear a little bit of that. And now for my collage. I'm going to use a couple flower buds from a recent download. I'm going to put some vintage photo around its edges just so there's not any white edges. And with coins, I don't want to add a whole bunch of collage because I don't want to cover up everything in the background, but I'm going to add a little something. I got a couple little pieces of ephemera. I'm going to add 1 to each one. Except for the one flower without any leaves, I do have, it's a branch of leaves. I'm just going to take one of the leaves off the branch and add it to the white flower because it just doesn't have any leaves. It would be fine without them, but I have leaves, so I'm going to give it a leaf. And just a little bit of stem. And I'm going to use this little label for the other flower, but it's got a blank area on top, and I just don't like blank areas. So I'm going to just take one of the stamps from Etcetera and just stamp part of the numbers on the top. And I think with everything going on it, that is all I'm going to do. I'm going to glue everything down. And the only thing you got to be careful here is, well, you don't really have to, but I am making sure things that glue down are going in the direction I want compared to my text stamp. If you want vertical text stamp, that's fine too. That would look good too. But I wanted them to be horizontal, so I just make sure what I'm adding keeps, and how I'm adding it keeps the text horizontal. And as I'm gluing the last one, I just want to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. If you like this, give me a thumbs up or send me a comment. I'd appreciate it. And I've got some final pictures coming up. So either way, you can stick around to see those, and I'll see you next time.